Hey, would it be? It's your boy DREOG. Welcome back to the OG family. Make sure y'all smash that like button. Subscribe to my channel if you're rocking with the vibes and the content. You know what I'm saying? But look, man, we got this 10 most controversial recent discoveries. You know what I'm saying? But look, make sure we go ahead and smash that like button. Yeah, they said they wanted to see me full body. You see me. Yeah, I'm out here. You feel me? Get into this reaction today, y'all. Trina?
Number 10. The Pharaohs Medallion. There is said to be a mysterious Pharaoh's Medallion that once belonged to the great ruler Akhenaten. You may remember him as King Tut's father, and the pharaoh that changed the entire religion of Egypt to worship one god, the sun. The reason the medallion is so mysterious is that it seems to depict the pharaohs being ruled over by aliens. There is what appears to be a great big UFO in the center of the medallion, some kind of oblong-headed alien overlord at the very top of it, and at the bottom are some pharaohs along with gods like Ra and Anubis. The suggestion of the medallion is that the Egyptians knew very well that aliens existed. If true, it would lend some credit to the theory that aliens did have something to do with the Egyptians building their pyramids and other amazing structures. It could also mean that aliens had a real influence over other ancient cultures as well. But there is a reason that this is a controversial discovery. Nobody actually knows if the medallion even really exists. Was this really something commissioned by the pharaoh Akhenaten? He is depicted quite strangely in many works of art, with spindly legs and arms, and a large protruding belly, and large head with big almond eyes. His appearance has made many question if he actually was.
Hey, that belly shit they were talking about, that just remind me of some niggas I grew up with. You know what I'm saying? How their stomachs is looking nowadays. Like, this shit crazy. Like, talking about them?
Unfortunately, no one knows where the medallion is, who actually discovered it, or if it's all just a hoax perpetrated by pseudo-archaeologists. The reality is that it appears as though Pharaoh Akhenaten had a genetic mutation which caused his brain to grow far larger than normal. Based on his looks, his strange DNA, and odd behavior,
Man, come on.
this pharaoh remains quite the enigma. Number 9.
They capping, bro.
Monsters on
cap.
Crete. On the Greek island of Crete, archaeologists discovered controversial footprints that suggest some kind of humanoid creature was roaming around 6 million years ago. To understand this controversial discovery, we need to look at the human foot. It is exceptionally distinct. One of the defining characteristics of a human being is the foot. So when scientists on Crete found fossilized footprints of a creature with feet that look shockingly similar to ours, it was quite the surprise. The footprints were made by something walking on 2 legs. In total, there were 29 prints ranging in size. It was almost the same as ours, except they didn't have enough toes. There's a big toe and then 3 smaller toes with a heel on the other side. If you didn't actually stop to count the toes, you would think it was a normal person's print. Carbon dating determined the age of the footprints to go back 5.6 million years. This doesn't make sense for a lot of reasons.
Not at all.
The cradle of humanity is supposed to have been in Ethiopia. How human-like creatures could have made it out of Africa and all the way to Greece before branching out to the rest of the world would completely change history. What kind of creature was
You know
this?
what? No telling what type of creature that was. But look, one thing I can tell you, think about millions of years ago in Africa, you know, they have a lot of like wildlife out there in Africa. Just imagine, you know, being a humanoid type creature back then, and you got to deal with these fucking dinosaurs and shit. In Africa and shit too. Go find me a mountain and go somewhere at the top where ain't no dinosaurs that are real cold, and get it popping over there.
Anyway,
Fuck these lizards.
it remains a mystery. Whether it was a primitive humanoid, ape, dinosaur, lizard, human, hybrid, who knows? Number 8. The truth about Pluto. When it comes to astronomical discoveries, nothing gets people going these days quite like Pluto. More controversial than its discovery
It became
90
a planet
years ago
and
was its
unplanted it.
removal from the list of planets. But just what is Pluto, and why is it the most controversial space rock in the solar system? It was originally discovered by Clyde Tombaugh. Then, in 2003, a slightly larger planet than Pluto was found beyond Neptune in a region that contains trillions of small icy rocks. And here's where the controversy comes in. Pluto is still thought of as a planet by a lot of planetary scientists. It was the International Astronomical Union that reclassified Pluto as a dwarf planet, not technically a planet like Earth or Mars. and yet Pluto still has moons like any other planet. It just so happens to be at the edge of the solar system, in an area where there are billions and billions of similarly sized chunks of rock. And so scientists had to make a call. They had to define what's just a big rock and what is a planet. Half of the scientists decided that Pluto would be the line in the sand. It was too small to be a proper planet. However, the other half of scientists still to this day believe Pluto deserves its place on our list of planets.
Hey man, look, I'm gonna say this though, man. Look, y'all better stop playing with Pluto like that, man. Pluto, I get it. It's rocks out there and shit, but you know, Pluto ain't shaped like those other rocks and stuff. You know what I'm saying? You see them damn boulders compared to Pluto. Stop playing with Pluto. Pluto is a planet. What y'all think in the comments down below?
Is Pluto a planet, or is it just a really big rock? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Number 7.
Stop disrespecting Pluto like that.
A controversial study has proposed a new theory as to how humans developed our big, smart brains. For a bit of background, our brains grew as if they had been taking steroids between 2.6 million and 11,700 years ago. During this brief window of time, and up until very recently, our brains were developing more rapidly than just about any other creature on the planet. Scientists working with the Tel Aviv University believe the reason for this sudden explosion of growth has to do with our hunting style. According to the scientists, as humans hunted the largest animals around, eventually bringing them to the brink of extinction, we found ourselves running out of food. Our earliest ancestors specialized in taking down big animals like bison and elephants. These creatures were provided great fatty meals. But as we killed them all, humans were forced to resort to catching smaller prey. This meant we needed more brain power to catch smaller, more clever animals. The humans who were good at hunting these smaller creatures had larger brains with more brain power. So the brainiacs had more babies and passed on their big brain genes. This is at least what the new theory suggests. It's controversial because there is no way to prove it. All we know for sure is that the human brain expanded from 40 cubic inches 2 million years ago to 92 cubic inches 10,000 years ago. That is a shocking
Some
amount
people
of
still
growth.
got small brains.
Wait until you hear this. Scientists say that brain size since farming started has gone down to 80 cubic inches. We've actually lost 12 cubic inches of brain since agriculture began. Number 6.
Oh man, y'all know what that shit mean right there, man. That's a pure example of, look, man, we're stunting our own growth, people. And look, and this is one thing that is known, but you know, they're not really going to speak too much about. It's about stuff being carried, traits and stuff being carried through DNA, passing it through your kids and so forth and so forth. Are the building block, man. That's why I think it's every one of our job to get out here and learn stuff and progress in life. But the people that don't want to do anything, they're actually hurting us as a whole. So we all need to be on a similar page and on the same page so we can get to progress. That's all I'm saying. Does it make sense? We know.
Of Jesus. There are 3 tombs in the world where Jesus was supposedly buried. But which of these controversial tombs is the real one, if any? The story goes that after Jesus of Nazareth was crucified, his body was placed in a tomb. But when they went to check on his body later, he was gone. 3 days after he was dead, he came back to life, or was resurrected. That's the way the story goes. But the truth is that there are 3 tombs in Jerusalem that are all claimed to be the place where Jesus was originally buried.
Yeah,
There's the Talpiot family tomb just outside the old city of Jerusalem. It was discovered in 1980 with 10 ossuaries within. Some of the tombs bear names such as Mary, Joseph, and Jesus. It's been suggested that Mary Magdalene was also buried here, next to Jesus, who was, according to some, her husband. But that's a whole different controversy for another day.
You know what the controversy is? It's not just that. It's the pictures of the damn people, man. The pictures of the people, they didn't even fucking look like that. That should be blowing me every time.
Originally put forth
What is you talking about controversy? That's the controversy.
1883. This is the most popular spot where evangelical Christians come to see the place where Jesus was buried. However, the guy who actually found this tomb was not very reliable. It was even said that the Ark of the Covenant was found nearby and then stolen. And finally, there's the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. Before the church was ever built, There was an ancient Jewish cemetery that stood just outside the walls of Jerusalem at the time that Jesus died. There is archaeological evidence to confirm this. However, it's still impossible to say whether Jesus truly did get entombed here, or one of the other two spots believed to have been the site of his burial. Number 5. Fetuses and memory. A new study has shown that fetuses can remember things. Scientists have found that at 30 weeks old, a fetus has developed short-term memory. If there had been any debate about whether fetuses were conscious or not, this really settles it. According to Live Science, researchers tested the fetuses in 100 pregnant women. They wanted to figure out at what age memory starts and how long the memories can last. They exposed the fetuses to vibroacoustic stimulation. In other words, a very low sound that causes vibration. They observed the reaction of the fetuses using ultrasound machines. What they discovered was that a fetus would get used to the sound after hearing it enough times. At first, they would react badly to the sound, but after hearing it over and over, they just got used to it. Scientists saw that at about 30 weeks and beyond, the fetus would remember that specific stimulus and not react badly. To summarize the results of the study, fetuses at 30 weeks old can remember things for a full 10 minutes. At 34 weeks, fetuses are able to remember things for up to 4 weeks. Number 4. The first noodle.
You know what's crazy? What is your earliest memory? That's an interesting topic to talk about, man. What is your earliest memory? I really can't tell y'all. I mean, I can remember as far as like I think I remember I got some memories before kindergarten. Before kindergarten, I have actually like real memories of like eating Thanksgiving dinner at my parents cooked. You know? Yeah. I would say I was around like what, 5? I can remember it then. Let me know in the comments down below. Like, what is your earliest memories?
There is a lot of controversy surrounding the noodle. Back in 2005, there was an announcement in the scientific Nature magazine talking about the remains of noodles being found at a Neolithic archaeological site in China. The news circulated around the globe, sparking a fierce debate between the Chinese, the Italians, and the Arabs over who invented the noodle first. And as it turns out, that award goes to the Chinese. The discovery of the oldest noodle came from a site called Laggia.
How we get here?
Compared to Pompeii in Italy. It's a famous ancient city that was abandoned after a brutal earthquake and a flash flood. The flood managed to preserve this city almost perfectly. When excavations began in the early 2000s, archaeologists found strands of noodles from at least 2000 BC. These noodles were created using the traditional method of lamian, of stretching each strand by hand. This technique is still used in China today. The reason everyone got so angry is that each culture wanted to believe they were the inventor of the noodle. The Italians are no
arguing
longer
over
able
noodles.
to say that it was them who invented spaghetti. In fact, it was the Chinese roughly 4,000 years ago. Number 3. The Bust of Nefertiti. The bust of Nefertiti is a painted statue displaying the royal wife of the pharaoh Akhenaten. It's believed that the bust was carved in 1345 BC by Thutmose, the most legendary Egyptian craftsman. After all, it was found in his workshop. The bust has gone on to be one of the most replicated pieces of work from ancient Egypt. It also helped turn Nefertiti into one of the most famous women of the ancient world. The statue was originally discovered by a team of German archaeologists led by Ludwig Borchardt in 1912. Ever since its discovery, it's been kept solely in Germany. It's been displayed at several different German museums and is currently sitting in Berlin. The reason it's such a controversy is that Egypt has been trying to get it back for a decade. It's been part of an intense argument between the two countries because Egypt demands the statue back as reparation. Egypt began demanding the statue back 12 years after it was taken by the Germans, once it became a wildly famous artifact.
That shit crazy.
Germany refuses to give it back. It's part of some bizarre protocol. Because the German excavator signed a deal with the Egyptian Antiquities Services at the time, the Germans technically own it. But just how long are these kinds of deals valid for? It's been nearly 100 years since the paper was signed, and at the time no one even knew it was a bust of Nefertiti. Should Germany be allowed to keep an artifact that they took from another country? Or should they have to give it back? What do you think? Let me know in the comments below.
Man, look, I'm gonna be real with y'all on shit like this. Look, they need to get that shit back. Give it back. Give it back. It serves no purpose for y'all even having it. You know, it's not even part of your culture, heritage, none of that shit. Motherfuckers always want something that don't belong to them. And it's not always black people doing it. That shit crazy. Look at that. Look at that. Just doing it in a different way. Get that shit back.
Number
Manipulation
2.
bullshit.
Animal evolution. A new fossil may have just pushed the theory of animal evolution back 100 million years or more. As you may already know, our planet has existed for at least 4.5 billion years, and throughout the life of Earth, physical life has existed continuously. For most of the Earth's history, that life was bacteria. The big question scientists have always wanted to answer is this: when did animals as we know them today first appear? Scientists now know that organisms began to grow shells, exoskeletons, and become animals about 540 million years during the period known as the Cambrian explosion. This was when diverse and complex animals with hard body parts suddenly exploded onto the scene. However, scientists have no idea what happened before these animals existed. There is no fossil evidence of creatures without hard body parts. The catch-22 is that animals with hard body parts must have evolved from animals with squishy body parts that scientists have never been able to find. In northern Canada, a geologist and paleobiologist just discovered a microstructure that's nearly 900 million years old. It seems to show a type of sponge creature many hundreds of millions of years older than creatures from the Cambrian explosion. The reason this is controversial is that it could push back the creation of animals to nearly a billion years before today, or further. If this goes far enough back, it could prove that Earth has harbored complex life for almost all of its existence. Number 1.
But my thing is, like, what? See, this shit right here, this type of stuff, this type of thinking, you're thinking about world, stuff we don't know about, the cosmos. It's very interesting because there's infinite space out there as far as we think, but it doesn't make you feel uncomfortable when you think about something being infinite and we haven't even seen on a personal level. You know, the government, they know a lot more shit than what they're saying. They've been covering up spacecrafts for and everything like that for what, since the beginning of time, since Roswell, all that shit. You know, they've been forced lately to release documents, but they were still like manipulating that stuff. Oh man, I think it's a lot that we don't know about. This stuff is very interesting, and I'm locked in. Let me know some things, how you feel about, what do you feel about outer space? Like we're the only, like we get visited, had any interactions. It's my just the stuff I want to know, man. People watch. I like to read the comments.
Crucifixion nails. There are 2 iron nails that, depending on who you ask, were used 2,000 years ago to nail Jesus to the cross. These nails have been controversial artifacts forever. The nails were found in an unmarked box in the collection of a dead Israeli anthropologist named Niku Haas. According to the Israel Antiquities Authority, Haas took the nails from a tomb that he excavated in the 1970s. However, there are no records that say which tomb the nails come from. Then in 2011, there was a controversial documentary suggesting that the nails came from the Caiaphas tomb, from the tomb in which a high priest involved with the crucifixion of Jesus was buried. It said that the priest felt so guilty about crucifying Jesus that he kept the nails as a weird souvenir. It's obviously quite difficult to prove beyond any doubt that the nails were used to crucify Jesus. But according to geologist Aryeh Shimron, there is some proof that they could be the real deal. By doing some analysis, scientists found that the nails contained slivers of wood and bone. This means they were almost certainly used in a legit crucifixion. They were also dated back to around the year 33 AD, which is the time when Jesus was crucified. No one can say for sure if the nails were used in the crucifixion of Jesus, but they were definitely used in the crucifixion of someone at around the same time. Thanks for watching!
Now that right there is very, very interesting, guys. Like, look, oh man, I've never seen nothing on this one right here in particular. The nails that were used to crucify. All right, do y'all think that has any merit, or is it just somebody's desperate attempt having an artifact and try to convince us that it's real so they can try to sell this shit for like an infinite number or something? You already know how these things work. You know, I be very skeptical about a lot of these things because right now, currently, man, a lot of these videos, a lot of these artifacts people find, it's just people trying to do the money grab, man. That's just what I feel about a lot of them. But I think some of these things have a merit of truth, but ultimately we don't know at the end of the day. That's why, look, man, it is what it is. These videos are so interesting. But look, hopefully y'all like this video. Go ahead and subscribe if y'all made it to the end of this video. Make sure you got your notifications on always. Those drop, man. Look, I'll see you in the next video. Like I always say, for luck, hate this world. Love you guys. Out though.